Welcome back to The Real Grind, guys. Now I'm about, Italo, it's been long enough that we can say real grinders.
We're real grinders. I even got my own hand grinder today with me, so we are real grinders now.
Thank you so much for watching the show so far. It's been an awesome journey to be here, bring you guys like awesome stories, awesome people to share with you, to motivate, inspire you, and also the great cup of coffee. But today
Absolutely.
you have a little bit of a coffee that you want to cover that I haven't seen this coffee around here before.
We've seen it before. You can probably see a little clip. And what we're gonna do here is give it a good smell.
It smells amazing.
It's come pre-ground. We don't like coffee that comes already pre-ground, but that's all he had. Because I like to grind my coffee right there before then. But let's see, let's give it a shot.
She doesn't like it. Tell more.
No. But there's a cool story behind it. So we had an experience with this coffee, which wasn't the best one. And I told the guy, I was being real with him, and I told him like, hey dude, the coffee you gave me, thank you so much, but he didn't deliver. And the guy, I was afraid, but the guy was like, thank you so much for telling me that. Next time in Brazil, I'm meeting you at the airport before you leave, and I'm giving you another bag of coffee, but this time whole beans. So guess what? We're about to go to a redemption time with this coffee. I'm excited.
Let's go. And this is somebody that is really back up his products. Like what you had is not what you're gonna have now, and bring something else.
Exactly.
Super excited to bring this guest here in a little bit, but let's get this show started.
Waking up to success, now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee, the real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.
He's been involved in real estate since 2006. He's seen it all. He's been around the block and now shifted to multifamily. And this guy, it's a rock star, man. And think about a guy that's super cool. He looks cool, he talks cool, and is a buddy of mine. We'd like to welcome on the stage Jimmy Edwards. Let's go. What up, man? Let's go. Let's go. Thank you so much for being here, my brother.
Studio's killer.
Dude, it's funny, every time like you go to those frickin' networking events, like boring real estate investors, and you stand out because you're cool, man.
Oh,
you look
man,
cool,
come
you know
on.
what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
And also, I remember like every time we crossed at those events, like, such great conversation, brother. I appreciate you being here. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah. And without further ado, we would like to ask you, where's your beginnings, where you're from, and but you get started at
So I grew up in Austin, Texas, and I went to Texas Tech. Got a degree in finance real estate, and then moved to Houston and started selling high-rise condos there, and then moved to Dallas in 2009, started doing mortgages, and then eventually started flipping houses in 2013 and did that for a handful of years, and then got into apartments. So pretty much always been in real estate. I've always been a numbers guy. Got a degree in finance, but they started having these classes that started getting harder, so I was like, oh man, I can get an emphasis in real estate, and then read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and just, completely changed my mindset.
And Jimmy, what was the drive to go to that degree in college, dude? And real estate finance, was something that you liked real estate? You had somebody in your family that was real estate? Why real estate?
I come from kind of a lower middle class background. Both, my dad was kind of a blue collar guy. He was an engineer for the city, and my mom, she was an administrator. So I went to college. I wasn't really planning on going to college, but went to college, got into Texas Tech, and I ended up getting an engineering scholarship because of my dad's job. And I just I didn't feel like I fit in, man. It wasn't me, and all of my friends seemed to be in the business school. So I shifted into the business school because that's what felt comfortable. And I was in marketing because I've always been kind of creative and I like art and, all of those things. And then I kind of felt, like I needed to challenge myself a little bit more. So I got into finance. I said, hey, what's the most challenging thing here? Finance.
Now, what is the most expensive shit I can do?
Yeah. How can I make some money? So Yeah, got into finance, enjoyed it. You know, math was always good. I mean, even in high school, like math was super easy for me. You know, I could never sit still, but math was easy. I didn't have to study it that hard. So, you know, I just kind of, you know, everything kind of happens for a reason. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And looking at yourself now, that you actually an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. So would that, when you're a teenager growing up, were you that entrepreneur kind of guy or not really?
Man, I was the mostly screwing off, getting in trouble kind of guy. I mean, you know, I was just always into something. I mean, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, always into something.
We got you. I was up to something. It was good to no good. It was up to something. I got you, man. That's great. And right off of college, what did you start doing? Is just like, so you started right into flipping, or did you?
So my last semester, one of the professors, you know, I was in finance, and then it started getting difficult, like corporate finance 3 and accounting 3. And I'm like, look, you know, I mean, these, you know, complex equations on the whiteboard, like that's, I'm not trying to do all that. I just want to make money. So I learned I could get an emphasis in real estate. And so I did that, and the credits were counting towards a license. And I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And, you know, I was like, hey, how do you become wealthy? You get into real estate. And so I finished my license. I got licensed in 2006, and I moved to Houston, and I worked for a developer that was building an 800 unit high-rise development. And so this was 2006. Market was still kind of chugging along. You know, I started in a trailer fresh out of high school, you know, had a small draw, but was all commission. You know, I learned pretty early on that I can make money self-sufficient as a producer, right? Like I'm a hunter. I like to hunt. You know, I don't like to be sitting in a box. So did that. That was fun. We were selling, you know, selling the vision, selling the dream, which, you know, is easy for me, and fun for me, right? Like seeing people get excited about a product. And, so.
Was that a multifamily high rise?
It was. So it was 2 buildings, 400 units each, condominiums. And it was in Houston near the medical center. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah,
Man.
selling, to a lot of different kinds of people because of MD Anderson and, you know, the draw there. And then as we got to 2008, I started seeing the financing fall through. Things were changing in the development, and kind of the writing was on the wall. I started looking around for different things, and I ended up moving up to Dallas, 2009, I think, and got into mortgages. Rates were going down. The market was collapsing. And so I went into mortgages and excelled at that. I mean, again, it's finance, real estate. And it was real easy for me to show people the value of refinancing, right? And so there were all these programs for people who were underwater. And so I was just refinancing and doing that for 2 years, and then got into another shop that did VA mortgages. So I did a lot of veteran purchase loans, and that was super, it felt good to do that and give back. But I mean, from 2009 to 2012, I was in mortgages in a really tough time of the economy, but, you know, making a lot of money, learning a lot, right. Also learning how people got stuck in hard situations.
Which is great, because like you build a very solid foundation on all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, so now probably you look at a deal, you're seeing like you have probably very good foundation.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And going back a little bit on Austin side, like, you know, you're from Austin. Bro, Austin then, Austin now.
Man, I was just talking about this last night, man. It's a much different place than where I grew up. That's for sure.
Would you live in Austin today?
North side. Went to Anderson High School. I mean, would I live there today? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
I mean, I would go back because my parents are there.
No.
I would go back because my parents are there.
Their parents
that would be what it is. But I mean, it's way different. I get you. It's not what I grew up to.
Yeah. But it's funny because like I after they build that big highway, they go outside of
Yeah,
Austin, right?
130.
Yeah, but now, and I've been like 10 years without going to Austin, dude. And one time I just go through the 35 and I look at Austin, I was like, holy shit.
Very different.
It's if you look at downtown Austin, it looks bigger than Dallas
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
I don't remember seeing, you know,
And Austin was
Ferraris
a small
downtown.
little,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember looking at the skyline and being like, oh man, it's itty bitty compared to Houston, Dallas, you know, all these bigger cities. And, you know, it was rare to see a Ferrari back in my day. And, you know, now they're just weaving in and out of downtown, which is like much different. It's
funny because we took the show on the road and we went to Austin. We did we sat in a food court outside with the food trucks, and there was a guy there interviewing, and it was really cool, man. So we call it the real grind on the road. But brother, before we get to how you are today on this killer in the business, man, do you like coffee?
Yes.
Guess what time
I
it
like
is?
caffeine.
It's coffee time. Let's go.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
very nice
Hey,
meeting you
likewise.
and having you on the show.
Man, I'm
And
excited.
I like to hear the passion on the call. I like caffeine. I was like,
Look, man, he's looking at those little cups. It's like, shit.
Man.
no, they're all for
Are
him,
those
right?
all for me?
It's like, I wanted a big one.
Right. But today, man, this coffee here, there's a little story behind it, as I said in the beginning. So thank you, Oscar. I truly appreciate you, man. The guy came all the way to the airport, picked me up in one terminal, and we chit-chat all the way towards the end. He's a pilot in Brazil. This is his side gig. So again, thank you so much. And I'm excited to try it again. He said, this is not
What is
where
his
it's supposed
name?
to be. Oscar.
Oscar, let's see, man.
It's time. So Jimmy is going to be the one that's going to be telling us. So this is different now. When we first tried this, there were two problems. One, she doesn't drink coffee.
Yes.
Two, it wasn't the best coffee that we had right there. Now we had a guy that's passionate about coffee. So, and we're passionate about coffee. So this is a blind test. I haven't had this coffee. I just opened up the bag. Came from Brazil this Tuesday. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fresh.
Okay.
Have you had this type of coffee before? Like specialty coffee?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. So let's treat it as a completely different beverage, right?
Okay.
So if you look on the top in there, it's almost look like there's oil in it. So
Right.
that means there's a good coffee.
Okay.
Let's drink it like wine. Give it a good smell.
Okay.
And then slurp and let it sit on your mouth. See?
I like it.
Very, very,
like
very different.
Let me see.
Holy shit, this is really good. And Oscar, good job, man. You are forgiven.
Wow. There's a fruit in Brazil. We don't have it in America. It's black, but whenever you pop it, it has this white meat on it.
It's almost like a grape, but the seed, there's a less pulp, but it's big seed, but it's very sweet like a grape. It's like a grape, looks like a grape actually.
Huh.
But the actually fruit, it
grows on
the trunk, not on the branches. Is the weirdest thing ever.
Dude.
So you look at the tree, it looks like a disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because it grows in the whole trunk because it's all black.
Right.
It's like, what the hell is that?
Weird.
But amazing.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite fruits. I never saw in America.
No, my mom, I was leaving Brazil just now. She had a bag, man, because whenever it's rainy season, that tree just blossomed like, it looks like this. Like the whole tree is just black and you come with a little can and you just like pretty much pass it across the trunk and you get all the fruit. But one of the notes on that coffee is that, so it's a black Arab coffee.
It's very floral, very floral, man. It's a really good.
Man, it tastes great.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
So have you had coffee like that before? Like it's more like a tea looking.
Yeah, I have not had a specialty coffee.
And you're gonna notice
This is
that-
good, though.
Yeah, you don't get that coffee breath.
Tim, you gotta
Right.
put the pinky up, now,
Right.
bro. There you go.
Freaking love it, man. Freaking love it. But as Neander was saying, man, your hometown, it's something that I hold dear to my heart because Austin is such an amazing place. We had a great experience in there. I actually bought some real estate in there.
Yeah?
Yeah, we were scooting down the road and I ate shit in there and I was buying some real estate as I'm walking down.
You know those scooters? He fell off. He fell on his ass, dude.
Man, it was raining and Neander and I had a challenge. He was supposed to buy a coffee mug for me to make a latte. So he went to a thrift store and I'm trying to chase Neander down and, you know, like Austin, people don't really know how to drive there. And I was trying to chase him down the road, and it was slippery. And oh my God, did I swear?
I heard he's falling, but I didn't even look back because I needed to get back. So he was behind me. All I hear was like, you know, I was like, I kept going, and then he showed up later, all beat up.
If there was one thing I wish that happened that day, it was that there was a camera.
Yes.
We would have used
Yes.
that footage so bad.
Yes.
I would probably be
American
famous by
Funniest
now. But so if you were to score this coffee, I want you to be honest,
Yeah.
from 1 to 10.
10.
Oscar, there you are, man. You went from a 1 to a 10 in 2 episodes. That's
And
amazing.
I like it too, dude. This was actually my favorite coffee of this month. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I like it that much.
There you
Nice.
go.
Very good.
So thank you
I
so
feel
much.
blessed.
Yeah, man. There you go. We got to experience it together. But Jimmy, you're not going home empty-handed. Here's a little something
Man.
from us.
From the Rio Grande
Thank
team
you.
for
The Rio
you, man.
Grande.
The real grinders.
Appreciate it. And
Man, thank you.
you bet, dude. You bet. So I want to keep hearing your story because it's awesome. And
Hey, I want to know what this is. I can't wait to open a gift. Man, thank you.
You
That's
bet, dude.
sweet.
now you're a real grinder, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love
Yeah, it works for liquor too. So if
Okay.
you put a booze
Right. Good stuff.
Okay.
I want to keep hearing your story, man. It's been very inspiring.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for the
trying our
coffee.
coffee.
Yep, yep,
And
yep.
If you want more coffee, you know how to find it.
I will. Yes.
Right on.
Yes.
Thank you so much, bud.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Let's go. Hey guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started and invest in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/the Rio Grind. Let's get back to that interview. Jimmy, talk to me, man. How'd you get into multifamily? Because, pause. Before that, I know you're flipping, and we're like, when we're doing the session, we try to get a little bit of stalking you a little bit. When you Facebook, you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to me a horror story that he went to flipping.
Man, it's hard to think back. There's a lot of them. I mean, we probably flipped 100 houses.
Holy cow, really?
I mean, it was the grind. Marketing, finding deals.
And what was your team doing that? You were by yourself? You had a team?
So it was me, and I had a partner, Catherine. We've been partners for about 10 years, and her background is in construction. So
Right.
I was doing it by myself. I was finding the deals, marketing for the deals, buying the deals, funding the deals, rehabbing the deals, and slowly, one at a time, 2 or 3, and then I got really good at finding deals. So then I had more deals than I could do. So then I had to go find more money, and then I had to find more help. And so then it was me and Catherine, and she was doing the construction, and I was finding the deals and financing them. It's a tough business to scale, right? You have different groups of contractors, and your houses are all over the city. And, we were heading, this was 2013 to 2018. And I was always pretty conservative going back to my experience in 2009 to 2012, right? Like I understood the value of a quality loan product. I understood getting in at the right basis, and making profit. And so several years in a row, we looked at scaling the business. How do we scale? And, do we do more deals? Do we do bigger deals? And I looked at the numbers, and we ended up doing less deals with higher margins and scaled that way. And then the next year, how do we scale again? And I learned about multifamily, and we had a deal that pretty much everything went wrong. The plumbing was totaled. The AC went out when it was new. And then the same weekend, we had like 7 different rehabbed houses come on the market on the same block as ours. And it just totally, it became a who can sell the fastest at the lowest price. And I'm like, I don't really want to play that game. So, let's kind of hold our feet. And we ended up losing money on the deal, right? And so that was about the same time that I was learning about multifamily. How are we going to scale this business? And then that's kind of when the light bulb went off. Like, in multifamily, you're flipping a big building. There's a lot of other components to it, right? But the reality is that you have tenants in there covering your expenses while you're improving the project. And that was the one thing that, you know, we didn't have in single family flips was,
You got to go fast.
You got to go fast. And if something happens, it's coming out of your profit, right? So you don't have the luxury to make sure, you know,
mistakes and stuff like that. That's exactly what I tell people sometimes. They come in and say, "Oh, what is multifamily?" Right? They think it's more. First of all, some people, when you talk about multifamily, they think it's multi-level marketing. Have that happened to you before? No,
No.
It happened to me. It's like,
that's
you know,
incredible.
especially at those events, right? It's like, is this multi-level marketing? You say, no, it's multi-family, family, apartments,
Apartment buildings.
apartment buildings,
Yeah.
right? But what I was saying that basically it is we flipping in 3 to 5 years.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And slowly, obviously the scalability, we're flipping over 100 units or something. So it's a lot of, imagine it's 100 houses.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But you have a lot more room for, you already count that in on the underwriting, right?
Correct.
So I love that, man. And so what was your first syndication or your first apartment you bought?
We bought we there's two notable ones. The first one we bought was a 16 unit townhouse deal. And when we bought it, the rents were like $500 a month. And when we sold it, they were $1,100 a month. I mean, it should have been condemned. 20-year owner, never spent a dime. City was coming after him. And, you know, coming from flipping houses, we saw the value in that. Got 100% financing on the purchase. We put in money for the rehab. And, man, it was a scary deal. It was the place for bad news in the zip code. Every drug dealers, prostitutes. I mean, it was, you know, the first day we showed up, someone chased our manager with a baseball bat. Like, you know, people were shooting guns in the air. It was crazy, man. I learned real fast that you got to get the bad apples out. We were about 50% vacant. We'd rehab 2 or 3 units, moved in a new tenant. That weekend, they broke down our door, stole her flat screen. She wanted out of her lease. So we're like, okay, well, we got to get these guys out. So we went to 0% occupancy and then filled it up.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that I kind of learned.
I would assume that was a bridge loan.
It was a bank loan. A bank loan. I think it was a 7-year bank loan, variable rate. But you know, I like the longevity of the loan in case you get
But
into,
you knew that's what you had to do, right?
Yeah.
Coming in was a big project.
Yep. And so the next deal we bought was similar. It was a deal out in Lubbock, Texas. You know, we went to Tech, so knew the area. Another deal it was a 100-unit deal, 50% occupied. And I knew going into that deal that occupancy is going to drop. Vacancy is going to go up. We need more money in the bank because it's going to get worse before it gets better, right? So we learned on this small deal how to do a heavy lift. And again, bank loan, 7 or 9 year loan, variable rate, but they had caps built in, and you know, so we ended up going down to like 30-something% on that deal. But the basis was good, right? So again, going back to like being in a deal at a good basis. If there's mistakes and skeletons, you got room. Sold that deal, doubled our money. I mean, you know, it was a good deal. So
that's awesome, dude. And how did High Five Multifamily came about, dude?
So, man, we just, you know, me and one of my best friends, we were at a concert, Austin City Limits, probably 15 years ago. You know, and we were high-fiving people. You know, high fives make you feel good.
It does.
And, so
I do it to my little girl.
Yeah. And
so my little daughter side is this funny thing. Like my little daughter, she start pissing now on a little potty training her, right? So every time she successfully do it, we high five each other. It's like, yay! So high five just bring you joy, man.
I mean, it makes you feel good, and that. When we started buying houses, it was High Five House Buyers. And then when we got into multifamily, it was High Five Multifamily. So, yeah.
And what is today your business model and what is your business going to be here in 5 years, man, for the hi-fi multifamily?
So really, the past 6 months, Q1, Q2 of this year, I've been working on systems, processes, procedures. I'm a visionary. I like the big picture. And in order to scale, we've done it. We've done quite a few deals, and we sold a lot of deals in 21 and 22. We're light on assets right now, focusing on operations. And to scale again through the next expansion, I really look back and say, hey, where are our struggles? So going back into the back end systems, process, procedures. I mean, if we can get 25 deals, it's probably 10,000 units, and do it again.
What do you see right now in our current climate, right? What do you see right now as an opportunity, or as you feel as being conservative? What's your take on it by the time of this recording?
If you can find a deal that pencils right, Neil, now I would buy it. I think that commercial real estate prices right now are discounted. I think that if you can get a loan assumption, great. If you can buy on, bank debt or even on bridge debt, it's almost the opposite now, because I believe that rates will come down. So when rates come down, prices go up. I mean, it's forced appreciation. So we bought a deal the end of last year, the end of 22. I think the interest rate was 7.5%, bank loan. I think we had 5-year fixed rate, and it penciled. And what I'm looking for is a seller that's selling.
Yeah.
Are you a seller? Right? I mean, that's what I want to know. Like, if we get into this relationship together, if we start going down this path and it's bumpy, are we going to close the deal together?
Sure.
That's what I want to know, because there's
been some greedy sellers out there that I understand completely what you're saying. Yeah.
That takes way too much energy, to get to the finish line, and hey man, I'm not going to sell. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? So a deal that pencils, a seller that's a seller, debt that makes sense for the deal. I think with any time period, going back to last recession, like if you can hold on for 3 years, if your debt makes sense for what you're trying to accomplish, then, I think we're going to
keep going up. 100%, bro. 100%. And brother, this is the part that we're going to ask you some questions. The audience would like to know a little bit more about you, man. So this is Spilling the Beans with Mr. Edwards. Let's go. Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins?
Cardone.
I want to ask why, but let's leave it related. Okay. Pit Bulls or Dobermans?
Pit Bull. It's had 3.
Bud Light or Miller Lite?
Miller.
Bud Light right now is trendy, man.
I've heard that, man. I actually just learned that. I haven't been watching the news or on social media for a while, and I heard that last week. I was like, hey, man.
Street bikes or chopper?
Right now, chopper.
As you get older.
I had a street bike when I was in my 20s. I said when I got older, I get a hog. Yeah. So here we are.
Same thing, man. Cowboys or Houston Texans?
Man, Cowboys.
On skiing, Vail or Breckenridge? They're ultimately the same, but
yeah, they're similar. I like Vail. Look, I'll go either way.
Now that he's super rich, he goes to Vail. But when he wants to have fun, he go to Breckenridge. Waterfalls or beach?
Beach.
Metallica or Nirvana?
Nirvana.
Rock and roll, let's go. That was Spinning the Beans with Edward. Let's go, Jimmy. So I told myself I was a street biker too, and I was the crazy ones that was pulling wheelies and doing crazy shit. But and then I told myself I'll never have a Harley Davidson. What the hell? And now guess what? I have heard
Yep.
of Houston. And now I'm even scared of riding. A guy that was pulling wheelies and stuff,
Yep.
like going almost 200 miles an hour. I'm scared because now I have a family. I have
Yep.
daughters. And every time I sit on a bike, I'm like, oh, shit. You know, I'm
Well-
going too fast.
Well, and it's not you, you know, it's the other people that you got to worry about, really.
Exactly.
I like the street bike because I used to always say, why are these guys are crazy? But then once you're on a street bike, you realize that if you can stay ahead of traffic, you're safer, man. When you're a sitting duck is when somebody's going to hit you.
Dude, and a street bike, there's no way you can sit on a street bike and go slow.
No.
There's no way.
No.
That thing is
Unless
just
there's
like
something wrong with your transmission.
Dude, that thing is just pulls you in, man. And
Man.
it was just like, I'm gonna try a little bit more. I'm
Yep.
just gonna go a little bit faster. Crazy.
But I mean,
man.
you're hot. I mean, a hog has got some horses too, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
you can.
I know, got some pipes too. But my neighbors like pissed me. Yeah, definitely, man. Dude, this was great, man. It
Yeah.
was great to get to know a little more into your story, how it gets started, bro. And like, you're a super fun guy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's. How do people can get in touch with you, brother?
We have a website, high5multifamily.com. There's some about us, some deals we've done. Your show will be on there. And there's a contact us form. Reach out. We'll get in touch.
You've been to a lot of platforms, brother.
Yep. Yeah.
And I see like you have a lot of different podcasts and stuff, you know. Apparently good at this.
Yeah. I enjoy sharing the story. You know, real estate is fun to me. It's been really good to me. And you know, I like, you know, getting my story out there. You know, I'm just a regular guy that figured out how to get into real estate and living the dream and, you know, designing my own life. And, you know, I like talking about it. So
That's cool,
Yeah.
man. So if you were to give yourself an advice when you were starting there, the young Jimmy, you know, what would you have to say? Look up that camera there.
participate. I mean, that's always been my deal is, you know, sometimes you get scared and, you know, you overanalyze and, you know, you get analysis paralysis. I mean, you can't do that. You just got to jump in and participate, and participation will get you the next step.
Showing up. Amen. Thank you so much for being here, Jimmy. This was great talk, brother. And I hope that we can get connected a little bit more. I love to learn more of business, that we can be potential partners, man.
Yeah, love it.
Let's
Thanks for
go.
having me. Yeah.
All right.
And as always, thank you so much for watching the Real Grind podcast and show on Facebook, YouTube, your favorite podcast platform. As Jimmy's just said in here, don't be afraid, man. Be patient. It will happen. Be patient. And by the end of the process, give it a high five. You know it. So thank you again. Give us a follow on Instagram. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. It really supports us and helps us spread the word. Stories like Jimmy's is very inspirational, and that's what we're here for. We want to inspire you. And as always, thank you so much. This is the Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee, the real grind. This is the real grind. Let's go.